Caution. You are about to enter the no-spin zone. The factor begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. The Delaware Conundrum. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. With Christine O'Donnell becoming the Republican nominee to take Joe Biden's Senate seat, the race in Delaware becomes a national story with two very interesting candidates. First, Miss O'Donnell. What Karl Rove and others are concerned about is that the 41-year-old activist has never really had a job in the private sector. In the past year or so, she has made less than $6,000 in income. It also took Miss O'Donnell about 20 years to get her bachelor's degree from Fairleigh Dickinson University. She says it was because she couldn't pay the tuition. For most of her life, Christine O'Donnell has been involved with conservative politics, but along the way, she has had major trouble with the IRS and her home was foreclosed. Now, to be fair to Miss O'Donnell, she did run against Vice President Biden in 2008, so her public service must be commended. By the way, she lost that race 65% to 35%. Also, Talking Points is not criticizing Miss O'Donnell. Her record is her record, and voters must decide for themselves. But the truth is that she will be running purely on conservative ideology, not accomplishment. On the other side, we have 47-year-old Chris Coons, the Democratic nominee. He is a lawyer who graduated from Yale, currently a county executive in Delaware, the father of 3 children. Coons is also about as far left as they come. He gets a perfect 100% rating from NARAL, for example. And in his youth, he described himself as a Marxist. Somebody tell Glenn Beck. So the voters of Delaware have a clear ideological choice to make. A far-right woman versus a far-left guy. Whether personal achievement enters into the vote is an unknown. Right now, America is not in any mood for more far-left politicians, so Miss O'Donnell's campaign cannot be counted out. I mean, even the folks in Delaware have to know a guy like Coons will burn tax money as fast as he can, and with the country approaching bankruptcy, that is a frightening proposition. On the other side, Miss O'Donnell can be counted on to vote conservative down the line and to uphold Tea Party values, small government, lower taxes. In most years, neither candidate would have been nominated. But this year is very different, as you know. This year, the voters are throwing the bums out all over the place, and new people, even with dubious backgrounds, have a chance. Right now, a poll in Delaware says Coons leads O'Donnell 53-42, but that is not insurmountable for the Republican. If she hammers away at the far left posture of Mr. Coons, she will make inroads. Unless there's more stuff in her background that diverts attention. And that is the memo. Now for the top story tonight, ideology versus real life. What are the voters to do? Join us from Washington radio star and Fox News analyst Laura Ingraham, author of the big bestseller, The Obama Diaries. So what do you think about Christine O'Donnell? Would you be comfortable voting for her, Laura?
Yeah, absolutely. I underestimated her, Bill. I actually had her on my show, my radio show, I think it was about 10 months ago. I didn't think the performance was the best performance on the radio that I'd ever heard. I was willing to give her the benefit of the doubt and see how things proceeded. I didn't get involved in this primary. I watched it. And I watched Mike Castle represent very well the establishment. I mean, he's a go-along, get-along type, pretty liberal on a lot of social issues, the kind of guy who the Tea Party just can't stand, and a lot of folks in the country now are kind of sick of. So when Christine O'Donnell emerges, and then, you know, the Weekly Standard writes this article about how she sued the Intercollegiate Studies Institute for gender discrimination back in 2005, property liens, all this stuff, that all gets thrown into the mix. And what I think happened is that people saw this and they said, okay, but will she cut the kind of backroom deals that kind of Mike Castle would do? Because we don't really care about her property lien. We care about how she's going to vote with federal dollars. That's how I think it played out. So I think a lot of the pig piling on her, you know, some of it, you know, might have been justified, some of it not. I think it kind of had a boomerang effect. And I think a lot of people saw her and say, well, wait, I'm kind of like that. I'm having financial troubles. You know, I'm not a perfect person. Gosh, none of us are. And these bums on Capitol Hill aren't. And so let's see what she has to say. And she's certainly a lot better than that slippery kind of middle-of-the-roader rhino Mike Castle. That's how I saw it play out.
Okay. I think that's a pretty good, accurate description of why she won the primary. But now she goes forward in a liberal state against a guy who's very, very vulnerable. That's why I think Rove was so upset, because he says, we could really beat this guy, because he is bordering on a socialist.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, he's that far left. So we could really beat him with even a weak candidate like Castle. Castle could beat him. But now you have Christine O'Donnell in the mix, and the problem is that the race is going to get very, very personal. It's not going to be about issues. It's going to be about...
I don't think it's going to work. I really don't. I don't think the personal attacks against her, and I'm not speaking to the merits
of them. Have you seen what MSNBC has been doing to her? I mean, it's just
so 14 people are 14 people
right. Nobody
in Delaware
watches them, but that's going to get out there. Bill, it's just personal attack after personal attack after personal attack.
It is going to get out there, but I think this is a very different election. I know you're going to talk to Krauthammer about this, but I think this is different, and I think the establishment folks, and I think Karl Rove is one of them. The establishment, they're used to having certain types of candidates come forward, right?
Well, let me stop you there, though. You know Rove, and I know Rove. Rove, he supported Brown in Massachusetts.
Sure.
He supported the guy up in Alaska.
Right, but let me.
He's not a doctrinaire guy.
But Bill, what he represents to a lot of people, and I got thousands of people calling into my radio show jamming me about Rove over the last 48 hours, and I think he's a brilliant campaign strategist. I think he's a really smart guy. I also think he does represent to a lot of people
the establishment,
the past,
sure.
You know, and let me just say, the establishment is used to people with a certain type of resume, right? And so when you're going to have these Tea Party types go up against the establishment, you're either going to have one of two types of people: a self-funded multimillionaire Carl Palladino type, right, who can put all of his own money in, and a little unconventional, or someone who has a different type of biography, unorthodox. Some say it's checkered past, some say it's, you know, a lot of questions in the background, like Christine O'Donnell. It's not going to be the kind of resume, frankly, that these folks are used to, and that even maybe I'm used to.
I agree.
I think that's what's going on.
There is no doubt that this year is different than any year that I've seen since I've been working in political analysis. That people, and I think you hit it, but people say, look, he may not be the perfect candidate, but this other guy is going to spend this money.
It'd be a disaster.
Right.
Obamacare, stimulus, spending, and Bill.
Everything.
Bill, I am going to say, and predictions are always tough to make, and I thought New Hampshire was going to come out the different way, but I actually think in this mood, this country, I think she can even pull it out in a place like Delaware if folks on the right actually kind of unite behind her and say, look, she's going to vote the right way on these critical issues.
It depends how she campaigns, Laura.
She's got to campaign well,
She's got to step it up. She didn't do well on your radio program. She wouldn't come on The Factor.
She did well the other day. She didn't do well the first time. But a lot of people don't do all that well first time they come on. So we'll see. She has to acquit herself well. You're absolutely right. She has to bring substance and specificity to the passion.
If Miss O'Donnell, I think people in Delaware, independents in Delaware, will give her a hearing. But she's really got to step up and say, look, all of this other stuff, forget about it. Here's what I'm going to do for you. This is exactly what I'm going to do for you.
$1 million she's raised in 36 hours.
Here's what the other guy's going to do to you. Yeah. Here's what I'm going to do for you. Here's what the other guy's going to do to you.
I think, Bill, she's going to offer hope. I think that's what she's actually going to do. Hope
but
that
Obama
America
offered
can
hope,
get
and look
through
where
this.
that got us, Laura.
No, but this is hope that America is not going to be just scraping by, that we're going to be #1, and she's going to favor policies that are actually going to help us get to that position and stay there. And I think that's what she's going to do. I think it's going to be a pretty positive campaign, believe it or not.
Laura, thank you. Next on the Rundown, Charles Krauthammer, as we said, has a different point of view about all this, so we will hear from him.